in, it's Multiplier here, mixing things up with game-changing introductions on the YouTube, and yeah, a whole new angle that you've never seen before, although you have, just from it's a different angle. And why am I showing you this at a different angle? Why am I showing you this video on something like studio setup tips or something like that? I haven't really named the video yet. And that is because, as those of you who follow my channel regularly, I recommend it, you will know that I am moving soon. In fact, I have a move-in date, the 8th of July, officially, although of course it takes a few days to actually move, but that is exciting. It means, yeah, I will be moving, and this whole Multiplier experience will soon be no more. It will be much, much better. It will be orders of magnitude bigger. There'll be camera angles, lights, there'll be honeys in the bag, standard. There will even be 2 rooms, or 2 rooms, however you want to count to 2 on your fingers. In all seriousness, it will be the biggest upgrade you've ever experienced in the world of Multiplier since you started looking at my face. And let's be honest, who hasn't had their life improved by looking at my face? But yes, I'll be taking you along for the ride. What I plan on doing is having lots of vlog style videos as I figure out what stuff I'm going to buy for the new studio, how I'm going to lay it out, plugging in the cables, etc. I'm going to document the whole experience because you'll find it interesting and it'll be exciting to see me make a new space. It's going to be amazing. I'm looking forward to it. Anyway, that is the future. This is the now, at least for a few weeks. So what I thought would be cool is to do a video letting you know the 3, I've decided now, the 3 most useful things that I've learned about evolving this studio setup. For those of you who have been watching my channel for years and years and years now, 2.5 years, you may have seen the initial videos where I first moved in here, but yeah, it's evolved a little bit, not a lot, but it's certainly evolved over time. This whole setup right now is a finely crafted production machine. Everything is just right, all the alignments are perfect, it's amazing. I absolutely love it. Now, there's actually a little bit of this whole setup that's missing right now, and the reason for that is, well, I don't actually live here right now. As part of the whole moving process and the whole place flooding a few weeks ago now, I'm actually living elsewhere and just working here in the daytime. So I've actually transported the Native Instruments Control S25 keyboard to where I'm actually living, so I can do some production on the road, or on the road if you use the correct form of the. Therefore, what you have to do is use your imagination, but I believe in you. What you have to do is imagine that this lovely little giraffe character that I call Mr. Giraffe, you have to imagine that this is a Native Instruments Control S25 keyboard with lights and buttons and stuff like that, because that normally sits here. You may have seen in some other videos, maybe not, but yeah, that normally sits over there. But for the time being, you're going to have to imagine using the giraffe. But yeah, let's get into it. Let's get into some things. 3, I said 3. Let's get into 3 things that I think work really well about this studio. 3 studio setup tips. So first of all, now this is a really important one. That's why I'm starting with it. Logical. And it's, yeah, you need to make sure that any bit of music gear you have that you actually want to use is plugged in at all times. Now, you don't have to have it turned on unless you're producing, but make sure it's plugged in, and also make sure it's at arm's reach. Let me give you an example. So I'm producing some tunes. Oh no, I need to add some little pan flute over the top. Easy peasy, and that's because it's at arm's reach. Now, you may be thinking, why are you going bleep, bleep, bleep on the giraffe? But remember, it's not a giraffe, it's a Control S25 keyboard, so I can do my little pan flute, top line, I can do that lovely, because there's normally a keyboard there, all plugged in, ready to go. And also what I could do is, on top of that, I can have a little bit like with 2 arms, because I have 2 arms and therefore I can use them. Not showing off or anything, most of you probably have 2 arms too, but if you have everything at arm's reach, you can be like diddle diddle dun dun diddle diddle dun dun, and if you want to get really creative, just mash the Ableton push with your face, just like mashing it. Brilliant, that, and that is why it's really important to have all your music gear at arm's reach. Now, saying all that, this isn't actually plugged in because, what did a little spin there? This isn't actually plugged in because basically the cable keeps coming out. So I don't even use that, to be honest. It's theoretically, at least. In fact, no, this is demonstrating my point. You want to make sure that all your gear is plugged in, otherwise it never gets used. Because this cable keeps coming out, it never gets used, because when I'm in a production mindset, I'm like, yeah, yeah, click, 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 fist bump. If I want to add something new, I'm not going to use that because it's not plugged in, because you've got to like put the cable bit in there. that's down there, and then also I'm not even sure the USB cable I kept forgetting to, so yeah, I'm going to make sure that's plugged in at the new place, because I'd quite like to use it as well, because it's quite nice having some keys. I mean, I love my Ableton Push, and it's actually better than a keyboard, but there is a difference creatively in the tactile experience of sending away to keys versus pressing on a push. So yeah, I'm going to plug that in. That's going to be important. So yeah, that's going to be fantastic. Next little tip, tipperoonie number 2, is going to be, now this may sound trivial, but believe me, it's not. You want to make sure that when you're producing, when you're facing forward and you're writing music, that there's no distractions. I mean, looks like there's a few distractions. Normally, Mr. Giraffe sits in the corner, but that's a shaker, so it's actually a musical instrument as well. See, so it's actually music. You want to make sure when you're facing forward, all you see is music. Therefore, you're in a production mindset, you're ready to go, you're being creative, you're not being distracted by some thing on the wall, or there's some like thing over there, and you're like, what's that, what's that, what's that? I'm not even making music anymore, I'm looking over there. Don't do that. You need to be making sure that you're in the zone. And even if you've only got, say, not much music gear, and you've only got like a desk to yourself because you're still working out your bedroom, totally cool. We all started there. You can still arrange that desk so that when you're looking at your computer, when you've got your keyboard out and you're on your desk in the creative zone, that there's no distractions. It's all about just rearranging the stuff you have so that there are no distractions, and you don't need a dedicated room. You don't need to be Mr. Deadmau 5 to get that vibe going. You just need to make sure everything is organised such that when you're facing forward, making music, you're feeling creative. And I'd even go as far as saying, if you have some gear that you don't really use anymore, but it looks cool, place that in the background. That's what this little dude is for. The little Kai LPK25. It looks cool. It's got a musical vibe. Therefore, when I'm facing forward and I see it, I think about music, and I'm making music all because of that. So yeah, if you have any cool bits of gear, do place it in the background. It's all about getting that in that creative space, and believe me, it makes an absolute world of a difference. And the nice thing about that, if you combine those first 2 tips, having everything plugged in, ready to go, and also having everything music focused forward, it means when you're feeling creative, it's as simple as going, let's do it. Click, 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 banger, created, easy peasy. More seriously, when everything is plugged in and you're feeling creative, you can just get on with it and you don't lose that creative spark. If you have to, say, move some stuff off your desk and get your keyboard out, find the power connector, move some plugs out to put the power connector in, you've lost your USB cable, all of that takes time, and it means you may lose that creative spark, that bit of something that gets you excited, or you just may not bother. Believe me, when I first started producing, I was exactly like that. My keyboard wasn't plugged in, it was other side of the room, I had to move stuff out of the way, it was chaos, and that meant I just didn't produce as much. Whereas now, all I have to do is go, yeah, click, 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 ready to go. Actually, I need to turn 2 or 3 things on, but it's all ready to go. All I have to do is go click, 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 boom, ready to go. I can make music. I will be Skrillex. Yeah. Also, that's why I have the sound acoustic treatment in the corners. It doesn't actually do anything useful in my case because the room sounds all kinds of echoey, but you know what, it looks cool, and that psychologically does make a difference. If you think that the psychology doesn't make a difference, you're just wrong. Look at the scientific research. It's the reason why beer tastes better out of glasses. It's the reason why wine is nicer when you have it in a wine glass out of a wine bottle instead of just in a plastic cup. Same thing applies for music. You've got to be in that creative space, so make it happen. Yeah. Also, I can't actually show you now, but I have some cool mood lighting I can change to different colours, and that makes a big difference as well. So if you can get your hands on some coloured lights, I recommend it. Finally, the next tip that I haven't actually, yes, I thought of it just now as I did the spin. The final tip that I need to tell you about is what this is all about. It is called a deck saver, and what it does is it sits over your important musical gear, something like that, and what it does is protect it from like just getting dusty and getting bashed. So if you have any important music gear like an Ableton Push or Mr. Giraffe Control S25 setup, you can get one of those, put it on top, and then it won't get dusty. Like this guy over here that I don't have one, it's always getting dusty, it's crazy, and then it's like, oh, what's dust? Whereas if I have one of these, Ableton Push never gets dusty. And you can also rest stuff on it, you can like put, just like tape measure, just like put that on there, and it's protected, keys are fine. Anything really, just a good all-round protection, and it's called Deck Saver. They didn't pay me for me to mention their name, and in fact they won't even respond to my emails. I tried to get a free one of these in exchange for promoting them, and they wouldn't even respond to my email. So what Deck Saver is an overpriced piece of plastic that works extremely well. But saying that, I suppose it just does the job. They're really overpriced, these things, deck savers, but they work really well. So you do have to just bite the bullet and get them. But yeah, deck saver, if you're watching this, respond to my emails. Meanies, not cool dudes. You should have at least been like, nah, maniac, get off my email. And then I would have been like, cool, at least you responded. But no, couldn't even be bothered. So yeah, deck saver, don't buy them. Hashtag actually buy them. So not sure what to make of that. But yeah, deck saver, really, really useful. Yeah, and they are the 3 tips I have for you. Now, lots of you will probably be asking me, what gear do you have? What speakers are they? What is that and that? To be honest, it doesn't really matter. Yes, if you spend £10,000 on music gear, it'll probably be better than if you spend £10 on music gear, or let's be more serious, if you spend £5,000 on music gear, it will probably sound better than if you spend 500. But broadly speaking, it just doesn't matter. It's all about learning how to use your gear and making it work for you. Learning how to use it, building it into muscle memory so you can get creative with it. Learn how your speakers sound. Yes, that's correct. Almost all speakers basically do the same job. You just learn how they sound. Learn how your speakers sound, get a nice setup, get all that muscle memory built in. So you're loading up tracks like this, like some sort of weird machine, just looking, and your brain is mashing into the computer because you've got such a connection with it because of shortcuts and muscle memory. I said muscle twice then, didn't I? But yeah, I highly recommend it. And let me give you a bonus little tip thing. Something that lots of you probably don't realise, but it's actually one of my favourite little improvements of this studio. So lots of you probably now know that I have my Ableton Push as my main centre thing instead of my laptop. And that just makes a lot of sense because then it's centre of attention and I use it a lot more than if it's off to the side. And also there's lots of reasons why I don't have my laptop at the centre. Won't get into that now. But what I initially did when I first got the Ableton Push is had a... Is that the right... Had? Not important. What I did is I had a keyboard off to the side over here. So I was like, on my push, type, on my push, buttons. Oh, that's the honeys. Be right back, babes, etc, etc, etc. But the problem with that is this will sound stupid, but that was a ridiculous thing for me to do. Like, if you're like, that doesn't make any sense, like some weird dance or something, like type. No, stupid. Much better. Have your keyboard there. So you can still have your push centre of attention, but then you also have your keyboard centre of attention, and it's all just in the same spot, and it becomes muscle memory. And I absolutely love it. It's amazing. This has game changed the game for me. So yeah, I love the Apple keyboard. Getting a bit distracted now, but yeah, the reason why I like it, there was a reason why I was telling you about the Apple keyboard. It's got a really small distance there to there. That distance there from there. Look, there to there, really short, whereas lots of other keyboards are either big and bulky, take up loads of space, or they're really small, cheap wireless ones. And let's be honest, wires are way better than wireless. I mean, wireless things can be fun. This has no wires, but it's quite entertaining. However, when it comes to actually using a productive machine, wires all the way. I've had a million problems with wireless things. Just get some wires, get your mouse attached with a wire, get your keyboard attached with a wire. You can even hide the wire. I mean, wires are amazing. People should get off the wire hype. Yeah, don't go wireless. Wires are fine, people. Wires are okay. There are big problems in the world that need solving. Wires are not one of those problems. I mean, those wires down there are a problem on a global scale, but apart from that, yeah, wires. But yes, it's almost like the last time you're going to see the studio. I mean, yes, I'll do a few more videos in the next few weeks, obviously. But you're going to see it from this angle, so I thought it'd be quite nice as a final homage, learning words with multiplier. Homage, I'm going to say homage to the studio. It'd be quite nice just to give a nice big wide angle view, nicely lit for the first time ever from this angle. And yeah, this is the multiplier studio before the upgrade. As I say, I will guide you through the process of me moving and upgrading the studio because I'm going to buy loads of new stuff for it. Totally upgrade the experience, multiple camera angles, multiple areas. Literally, I'm going to have like one really big studio and then an additional vocal booth probably. Haven't decided exactly yet. It's going to be amazing. I'll guide you through the process as I figure it out, buy all this stuff, get it plugged in. It's going to be amazing. And yeah, I suppose that's it. Studio tips with multiplier. I'll catch you on the flippity flip.